Some of the tips in this lesson are practical, some of them are a bit more philosophical, but they're designed to help you avoid angry stares from bandmates. The first criminal bass playing error is missing the beat after playing a fill. I always think of fills as the bass player's version of a solo. We don't play solos very much, but a fill is where we can really express ourselves. So if I'm going like... I need to nail that E, and I didn't there. So one thing you can do is you can put on a drum beat and go. My focus there was twofold. One was to do a good fill, but as I'm doing the fill, I'm practicing getting back to that E on the beat one of the next bar without missing it. Okay, next is not tuning up before a gig or a session. I did a Battle of the Bands judging contest recently, and about 3 bass players didn't tune their bass beforehand. Probably their first gig. It's an easy thing to do, right? But get one of these. This is a polytune, a TC Electronic polytune. Doesn't have to be one of these, but you know, there's different brands. But this one clips onto the headstock, and you can kind of see it behind, so the audience can't really see it. And every time before you do a gig, before you do a session, make sure you tune up. Leave a comment below. Can you think of any bass playing errors to add? Okay, related to tuning is if you're on a live gig and you don't have either a tuning pedal that mutes the signal or one of these clip-on tuners, is to tune with your volume up. It doesn't look or sound good when you go to a gig and you hear a bass player tuning up between songs. Either put your volume down, get the clip-on tuner, or better, for live work anyway, is to get a pedal and use that. This isn't exclusive to bass players, but let's just say you're in a rehearsal. It doesn't even matter if it's just a band rehearsal with friends or if it's a professional engagement. I've done both sides of this, and you have to be aware of the other people. So don't be playing when people are talking about sections to work on, especially if you're in a professional situation. You've got to be listening. You've got to basically just kind of speak when spoken to. Play bass when you need to play it. Turn your volume down at other times. This goes for gigs too. If you're on a stage and you're about to get ready to play, you don't want to be noodling around playing before you start the gig. Open ears are important when you're playing a gig. The one thing to avoid is not listening. Now, if you're inexperienced at playing, it's just natural that you're going to be a bit nervous. You're going to be very, very focused inward on yourself and what you're playing. But music is an interactive endeavor, and the more that you can look around at your bandmates, the more that you can relax, the more that you can be prepared and learn your parts, the more you can react to other musicians. So try not to be so introverted if you're on stage or even on a session. It's all about just relaxing and trying to enjoy the moment and to make music with your bandmates. I've definitely been guilty of this one before on gigs. So easy to do. You're excited, just about to start, bit nervous maybe. The drummer clicks in 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've forgotten to turn up the volume. I've definitely done this on gigs before, and I've actually seen footage of people doing, good professional bass players doing this on YouTube as well. So, you know, what I tend to do is I've just built a habit of, it's probably like a, not really OCD, but it's almost a bit OCD, where I'm always just having fingers on the control knob, the volume knob. So, you know, if there's a moment where you've got to not play or just be quiet, the volume's off, and then I'm always just, you know, making sure, okay, there it is, and I'm ready. It's surprising how many times you can forget that. Another big error is forgetting your role as a bass player. I remember once I was on holiday and I hadn't played bass for a long time, and I came back to the band and I was on fire. I was just playing fills all the time, and they were really good ones. And the sax player was like, "Oh, you haven't played for a while, have you? You know, what he was saying is, what are you doing? You're overplaying." And I was overplaying, and I forgot the role of the bass, which really is to be supportive. I like to think about it like you're like a really comfortable sofa or armchair with the drummer. You're the rhythm section. You're making everyone else feel good. It's quite a selfless role as playing the bass, but just good timing, good tone, taste, decent technique. That's all you really need. I'm not saying Don't do loads of fills. I'm not saying don't overplay. Just don't do it all the time like I did. Okay, last one. Again, this kind of could apply to any musician. It's not learning the parts of a song. Now, this could be down to technique. Maybe you're not playing the parts because you can't quite get it at the time, and that's fine. Just adapt to what you can do at the moment. But I will always say, endeavor, if you're playing covers or, especially, but original parts too, make sure that you learn those parts and you can mostly play them. Then you can learn to play around them. But especially if you're doing covers, you do need to really learn those original parts. If you can't play the thing at the time, that goes into your practice journal. Is it because your fingers don't move fast enough? Well, okay, that's informing you to work on that. Always be able to play bass parts perfectly. Okay, look, none of these things are a real crime, but this video is really about just improving skills 1% every time, just making yourself a really valuable member of a band and just always trying to move yourself forward. Thanks for watching. Do leave a comment if you've got anything to add, and make sure you watch this video too.